Hey everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video. And so in this video, we'll be talking about not one, two, or three, but four disturbances out there. And so before I go into details, alright, so let us go ahead and start off with this new one, the most recent to pop up on the radar here. So this one on the 5-day outlook from the National Hurricane Center is given a low 10% chance to possibly develop into a tropical cyclone. So the chance was at 20%. It had that slight chance to get itself together over the next few days, but it doesn't seem as though we will be having any development taking place of this system. And looking at it on satellite, we're just seeing this very tiny area here of some shower and thunderstorm activity, a little bit of lightning here and there as well. But let us go ahead and talk about the other systems. And so heading into the early part of this week, going to tomorrow, it is likely that a tropical wave will be emerging off Africa, and we see this highlighted region where we could possibly see some development take place. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, we definitely have to be on the lookout for those Cape Verde type systems, although models are not showing that this is going to be heading westward and being a problem for the Caribbean or the US, but we will still have to watch it because changes are possible with this. And then going to that Caribbean disturbance, here we're seeing that there's a 20% chance that we could see development within this area. So we previously had that X to show the location of the system, and now it is not on this map anymore. However, a trough of low pressure could develop across the northwestern Caribbean. So we'll definitely have to watch that area. And then looking at these satellite imagery for the Caribbean, for sections of the Caribbean, we're seeing that we have some shower and thunderstorm activity taking place. We see some of that extended into portions of eastern Jamaica, and there is quite a bit of moisture within the area. But looking at a wider view of the basin, we're seeing that we're not really having a whole lot going on. So we really want to watch the central Caribbean, but things are pretty normal for the rest of the area. So let's go ahead and talk about the main disturbance here, which is given the highest chance to develop, now a 70% chance. And when I made yesterday's update video in the morning, it was at 30%. So big increase in the formation chance here. And this could bring some impacts to portions of the northeastern Caribbean, because this shaded area is really to help track the center of the system. It is not showing the size. And if the center passes just north of the Leeward Islands, that shower and thunderstorm activity could still be a little bit widespread and bring some impacts, especially in terms of that heavy rainfall. So we'll definitely have to pay attention to this as time goes by. But looking at it on satellite, we're seeing here that we have these areas of deep convection associated with the disturbance, and of course it should be looking a lot better. We should be having a better satellite presentation as it eventually develops, but of course it is just a disturbance, and invest 91L right now. And so let us go ahead and talk about the favorability of the Atlantic basin. So one thing for sure is that ocean temperatures are well on their way, so sea surface temperatures not a problem, very warm right now. So we want to talk about that wind shear and the dry air. And so first, let's go ahead and talk about the shear. So we're seeing that we have these various colors, the greens, the yellows, and the red. And so the green indicates that we have favorable shear present. That is what tropical cyclones need in order to develop. Yellow means that we have neutral shear, not too impactful, but not the best. Meanwhile, the red means unfavorable. That is when we have those thunderstorms being cut off. So that unfavorable shear prevents tropical cyclones from growing. And so taking a look in the Caribbean, we see that we have some unfavorable shear setting in sections of the eastern and central basin, extending out into portions of the Atlantic. Where we have that disturbance, we're definitely seeing some unfavorable shear within that region, but things could get a little bit more conducive as time goes by. And so as for the dry air, here we have the dry air map, and we have those yellows, the reds, and the oranges indicating all the Saharan dust. And so the disturbance is located in a region that has some dry air, so some dry air intrusion taking place there, and that might limit the intensification of the system in terms of how strong it'll be, and will also interfere with its overall development, because tropical cyclones need a nice moist environment. So without all that moisture, we won't see much happen for the system. So let's watch it and see what's going to be happening as time goes by. So as for the Caribbean, the Saharan dust is a little bit scarce in the area, a little bit maybe in portions of the Eastern Caribbean, but for the most part, not a whole lot there. And then finally, let's go ahead and talk about the various model runs. So we're going to be starting off with GFS. And so this is going out to Wednesday of this week on the 31st, the final day of August. And so GFS is expecting that we will have 3 low pressure areas to be watching across the Atlantic. So we see one in the Caribbean. That is likely the current marked area where we could see some development. So that area to be watched. And we also see that 1011 millibar low pressure system to the east of the Lesser Antilles. And just off Africa, GFS is expecting that once that wave emerges, it is going to start intensifying. Heading to Saturday, the 3rd of September, the final day of this week, we're seeing that GFS is expecting intensification of that system that might develop in the Caribbean. So we see a pressure here of 982 millibars, which is likely the pressure of a hurricane. And then as for that Atlantic disturbance, it is well north of the Lesser Antilles, right within that region. And then behind it, we have that wave that's not looking too good. And then headed all the way down to the 8th of September on Thursday. Something very interesting. So GFS is expected that we will be having the current Atlantic disturbance intensifying. We see a pressure here of 950 millibars, likely the pressure of a major hurricane at this point. So GFS is expecting intensification of this when it makes its way out of the main development region, where we have all that dry air. So if it moves more to the Bahamas and there is moisture and not a lot of unfavorable wind shear, then we could definitely see intensification. So this scenario isn't a crazy one to believe, because we actually have the very warm ocean waters to support rapid intensification. But we really just have to wait and see what is going to be happening, because the other models are showing something different. And so as I speak, let's go ahead and take a look at Euro. So this is by Friday, the 2nd of September, and Euro is not expecting that we will have anything developing in the Gulf or the Caribbean. However, as for Invest 91L, we see that it is showing that it is going to be making a close, it's going to be moving a little bit close to the vicinity of the Leeward Islands, and then that other tropical wave out there, pressure of 10 millibars. And then headed to Monday of next week, the 5th of September, here we are seeing that we have this low pressure area within the vicinity of the Bahamas. Not a very strong system there, but maybe enough to be a good rainmaker for the area. And then going to Icon. So Icon is expecting that by Friday, we're going to be having both of these. It is showing something a little bit stronger than what the Euro is expecting. So you see a pressure here of 1001 millibars, and we're seeing more isobars, those black lines. And when we have them, a whole lot of them being very close, very tightly packed, that indicates a steep gradient, which means that we have a pretty strong system. And then behind it, we have that tropical wave expected to emerge off Africa. So Icon is expecting development of that one as well. So guys, only time will tell what the actual outcome is going to be for all of these systems. I'm going to be saying all 3 of these systems, because I don't think that is going to be intensifying and becoming something very significant. So we have to wait and see what is going to be happening, as I said, guys. And of course, I'm going to be keeping you updated. But as for the Caribbean, if the system is going to be making a very close approach, then we could have quite a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity being induced in the area, but there is no guarantee that the Caribbean will be impacted. But I would say that if you're in portions of the northeastern Caribbean, maybe the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, probably even Puerto Rico as well, I would say to keep an eye out as time goes by, just in case this thing here is going to be making a close approach to your area. And so guys, that is really it for this update. And if you found it to be quite informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can share your thoughts in the comments or as a question. I'll try to respond as best and as soon as I can. And of course, remember to always be weatherwise.